Hello everyone, this video is about types of forces. Here, forces are classified into two types. First is contact force and another is non-contact force. Contact force is the force that results from the interaction of two objects in contact with each other. And non-contact force is a type of force that can happen without the object touching. In contact force, we will discuss some other forces that are normal force, tension force, and so on. In non-contact force, gravitational force, magnetic force, and electrostatic force. In contact force, first is normal force. The normal force is the support force exerted upon an object that is in contact with another stable object. For example, if a book is resting upon a surface, then the surface is exerting an upward force upon the book in order to support the weight of the book. On occasion, a normal force is exerted horizontally between two objects that are in contact with each other. For instance, if a person leans against a wall, the wall pushes horizontally on the person. So the normal force is when object presses against another object. This force is often observed to be support force from a stable force upon which or against which an object rests. Second is applied force. And applied force is the force that is applied to an object by a person or another object. If a person is pushing a desk across the room, then there is an applied force acting upon the object. The applied force is the force exerted on the desk by a person. Another examples are lifting weight or doing push-ups. So all these activities has been done by using applied force. Third is friction force. The friction force is the force exerted by a surface as an object moves across it or makes an effort to move across it. Friction results from the two surfaces being pressed together closely, causing intermolecular attractive forces between molecules of different surfaces. For example, if a book slides across the surface of a desk, then desk exerts a friction force in the opposite direction of its motion. The friction force often opposes the motion of an object. Also, friction depends upon the nature of the two surfaces and upon the degree to which they are pressed together. Another example of friction force is, now just assume if the person softly kicks the ball. If the person softly kicks the ball position changes and after some time it will stop. Now, why did the ball stop? Was there any force which stopped it? Yes, it was friction that stopped the ball. Air resistance. The air resistance is a special type of frictional force that acts upon objects as they travel throughout the air. The force of air resistance is often observed to oppose the motion of an object. For example, a skydiver. A skydiver is falling. Air resistance acts upward on the skydiver. Another example is a truck is moving at high speed. Air resistance acts backward on the truck. Spring force. The force exerted upon an object by a stretched or compressed spring. For example, a mass is suspended from the ceiling by a spring. Another contact force is tension force. The tension force is the force that is transmitted through a string, rope, cable, or wire. Example is a dog is pulled by a dog chain. The chain exerts a force upon the dog. So when it is pulled tight, forces acting from opposite end. The tension force is directed along the length of the chain. Now we will start non-contact forces, in which first is gravity force. The force that attracts objects towards the earth center is called gravity force. The force of gravity is the force with which the earth, moon and other massively large object attracts another objects towards itself. By definition, this is the weight of the object. For example, a ball thrown in the air comes back to the surface. All objects upon earth experiences a force of gravity that is directed downwards towards the center of the earth. The force of gravity on the earth is always equal to the weight of the object. Magnetic force. The push or pull exerted by a magnet. A magnet can attract magnetic objects. A compass is used to find directions. Electrostatic force. The force that exists between all charged particles. Some examples of electrostatic force are lightning, also hair standing up. So we have learned all the forces. Here consider an example where all the forces are acting. What happens when you softly kick the ball? What happens when you softly kick the ball, which is lying on the ground? You apply the force on the ball and there was contact. There was contact force. Applied force is one of the contact force. Next, there is a force of friction which brings the ball to the halt. As the ball is in the contact with the ground, frictional force is also a contact force. Don't you think there was some air resistance? Yes, there was air resistance. Also, the ground is applying an equal force exactly in the opposite direction. This force is normal force. I hope this video was understandable to you. If you find this helpful, don't forget to subscribe. Also share it with your friends.